Good morning, Platinum Top 50 Austin. Happy Friday to many of you. I am super excited for today's presentation because this really is something that's innovative, right? So we are going to be talking about Austin's first zero energy EcoSmart community. And if you haven't already heard, that community is Whisper Valley. And Whisper Valley is honestly, it's the blueprint for a new kind of planned community. It's 2,000 acres of creatively developed neighborhoods and business districts. It has over 700 acres of parks and trails. Literally go to their website, whispervalleyaustin.com. It's incredible. Parks, trails, meadows, and forests. So truly a new kind of development. Again, it is Austin's first EcoSmart zero energy community. Whisper Valley is located off of Highway 130. So it's 20 minutes to downtown. It's 10 minutes to the airport. A fantastic, fantastic location and just an innovative community. And so I love that we're marrying the idea of Whisper Valley is the partner that is bringing you this presentation, and they were instrumental in organizing our speaker, who is going to teach us all something new today. This is undoubtedly the development of the future, right? This is where it's going. And so I just think it's such a cool opportunity for us, especially those of you agents that are in sales roles, to be able to learn about what goes into this kind of development, the engineering, the science, the technology. That's the overview of what this next conversation and presentation is going to be about, right? So how cool. We have Chad Blevins. Him and I are going to talk through what is EcoSmart, what is a zero energy community. So Chad is an energy engineer for a company called EcoSmart. So Chad, good morning, welcome. Thank you. Where are you dialing in from?
I am dialing in from Georgetown, just a short drive north of Whisper Valley.
Awesome. Chad, I would love for you to just start by explaining to our audience kind of your position, what you do at EcoSmart, help them understand the company, because it's not just your knowledge that I think is so interesting to learn from, but I was just fascinated with what your company does in working with developers and builders for master plan communities. So can we start there?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. And I think it's important to start with clarifying the distinction between my company, EcoSmart Solution, and Whisper Valley. They started and were born together. The real estate development company that is behind both, which is Taurus International, has been around for 40 years. They've done a lot of commercial redevelopment, some master plan community development, some in a very large international business parks in India. They've got projects
Huge
in Germany.
Development company.
Huge.
Huge. Yeah.
And so
Huge.
when they went and decided to buy this 2,000 acre property in Austin, they knew that they needed to do something to set it apart. They understood understood the vision that Austin has had for a long time as a community, really driving towards sustainability. And they thought to themselves that we can take this brand new community, and rather than using a golf course as a marketing angle, they thought, and it sounds, that our marketing angle can be making it sustainable, but it's not just a marketing angle. It is the vision.
But that's why I think it's both, because it is a marketing angle, but it's not just a self-serving marketing angle.
That's exactly right. And it's an idea that has evolved over time. When they first picked up this property, it was right before the market crash in 07, 08. And so this has been a long time coming.
Right.
And over time, as they've developed the vision of what could go into Whisper Valley, they set up EcoSmart as a distinct subsidiary of Taurus. So we are our own company, separate from the development company that's building the neighborhood. And
Right.
as our own distinct company, we actually have gone forward, and I helped with making this connection, and formed a joint venture with Shell. So Shell New Energies, as in Shell, the gas station, as in one of the biggest energy companies in the world, is a joint venture partner with a co-owner of EcoSmart now.
Very
and
cool.
So that gives us access
well,
to
and I love
worlds of technologies that we can bring in and implement.
Well,
And
what I love too that you told me, which you already hit the note. They bought this in 2000, the land, the 2,000
yes,
acres, and 2007-8. So this is long ago. But where your company comes in, and just the idea of building this kind of sustainable master plan community, it has to start at the very, very, very beginning, right? Like it starts at conception. Because what you and your team does as engineers and as scientists and researchers is then you go in and you build to make sure that it comes out, the end product that they want. So can you walk us through when you go into a master plan community, right? And you're consulting for this one, let's say Whisper Valley. What are some of the first steps that you do?
Absolutely. Well, we begin with principles. And one of the key principles of the engineering design is to come up with a solution that provides the high level of energy efficiency that we know home buyers want to see in the end result. And we, at the same time, believe that that is something that we can and should provide in an affordable way. So it's easy. It's almost, please.
When you said affordable, because this is something, again, yes. I'm interested in this conversation because I can't believe that this is Austin, which is a super, as you already said, has been heading towards sustainability. That's, a key cornerstone of just what Austin is. So to me, the fact that this is Austin's first, I want to know more. So, when you said that it's affordable.
And more than that, the median home price in Austin is up there. You're
going exactly where I'm going.
And the median home prices in Whisper Valley are at, or maybe even a little bit lower than the median home price in Austin. And it's not, and that's with all of this technology incorporated. Normally, you might expect to say, well, I'm going to pay a big premium for a house if I am going to get this hyper efficient house. But we're going in the opposite direction. And this is, again, is what we're able to do by starting at the level of the civil engineering for the neighborhood itself. Because it's not just a matter of good technology. It's good technology that you kind of have to get in the ground, literally, before you start pouring pavement.
Well, you have to get in the ground if you want to be where y'all are, which is zero energy, right? So one thing, and then I've got a question for you. When we're talking about affordability for the agents, like it said, go to their website, y'all. So Whisper Valley Austin, prices from the mid 200s, and it has very affordable all over the website, right? So again, as I'm preparing for this presentation and I'm at their website looking like, how is it that such an innovative development can sell land to the builders who then can afford to build something that is this affordable? And affordable housing is another big topic, word, issue. So can you help us understand then, Chad, right? What is EcoSmart? Let's start there.
EcoSmart is an energy efficiency integrating development partner. So we work with the developers of master plan communities to make it plug and play easy for the builders who buy lots in those communities to provide zero energy capable, highly efficient homes, energy
Okay.
smart homes. So we sticking with our initial comment that we were just saying, we keep it affordable by making the solution plug and play for builders, specifically production builders. And it's the
Wow.
production builders that they're who bring this affordable. That they build houses knowing to the number of nails they're going to use exactly the same floor plan over and over and over and over again. And that's how they provide affordable homes. We know that, and with that understanding, we had to come up with a solution that would allow the builders to keep building the same house, but with as minimal disruption as possible, make it highly energy efficient.
So,
And
knowing that this starts at the beginning, right? Like we said, right?
yes,
So your company, so it starts at the, conception, the vision, because, that's how much goes into the civil engineering of just the development. So you guys come in there. So, before you're building a house then, right? Like what goes into the foundation? Like what are you actually integrating into that? Like what does your company do that sets it up for the builder to be able to come and do their thing?
so here's the most standout piece of technology, of a set of technologies, but the most standout technology that we integrate, and it's literally from the ground up, is what we call a geogrid. It is a shared district system for heating and cooling. And the way that works is we have, in just one phase of a neighborhood, in one phase of Whisper Valley, which is 237 homes, the first phase, we have basically a water line that connects a water borehole at each lot. And those boreholes, these wells going down, it's a closed loop system. So imagine a pipe of water that is being pumped throughout the entire system. There's about 50,000 gallons in the entire system. And at each house, it goes down about 300 feet, comes back up and continues and connects to the next house. And
what does that water do, right? Like I'm over here going, is that for rain collection? Where does that water line play into this sort of design, integrated,
absolutely.
design?
And so this water system, there's no in and out of the water. It's a closed system. It's just circulating. And what it is a way of tapping into the constant set temperature of the ground. And so if you just go, a few dozen feet down into the earth, it is, as anybody who knows who's been into any of the caves around Central Texas, a constant cool temperature. You've got about a 75-degree constant temperature in the ground. And so the water circulating through all these houses stays at that temperature.
Okay, can I ask you a dumb question? Because I'll be the one that's not afraid to ask the dumb questions that everyone's probably gonna be like, oh, duh, she doesn't know that. But I have to ask. So when you say it's a closed water system,
yes.
meaning there's not like city water or like is this a recycled water? Is this a rain capture? Like
no. So we're not adding any water to or taking any water away from. So city water was used to fill it up, and then it's closed and it's just recirculated. So the same water is just going around and around, because all we're doing is using that water as a giant heat battery.
Wow.
And
wow.
What that means is that it is what all of these houses can use instead of that really large fan that sits outside of every single house that is the air conditioning system, right? So every single house in Texas has these really big fans spinning outside their house with the coolant that goes from the inside of their house out to this side, because the way the air conditioning system works is it basically sucks the heat out of the air in your house and then spits that heat outside your house out into the hot air outside your house.
Right.
So for the builders, all we've said to them, and to make it as easy as possible, is we say, instead of putting that air conditioning system right there, you, in that same place, put a heat pump. And a heat pump is exactly the same thing, except instead of taking the heat from the house and then spitting it out into the air, you're taking the heat from the house and putting it into the water that is circulating from deep underground up through the exchanger and then back down.
I love this. I feel like I'm kind of talking to like Bill Nye, or like I love science, like, but I also love learning new things. So let me make sure that I have this straight, because I want to make sure our audience has this straight. So one of the first things that y'all did in, building this community was to lay a clothesline water loop under it all, that the water that's spinning or circulating through is used to heat and cool the homes?
Yes.
Wow.
And here's the thing. Using geothermal systems like this,
okay, so this is a geothermal.
This is a geothermal system.
Because we're using geo being the ground, or
geo
geography.
being the ground, geo earth, thermal,
okay.
heating and cooling.
Okay.
And it's important to remember that a geothermal air conditioning system is just an air conditioning system. It's not some super high-tech technology. It really isn't. These have been around for decades. And it is so much more efficient to take heat and put it into water versus taking heat and putting it out into the air. If you want to defrost a thoroughly frozen chicken, do you leave it sitting out on your counter, or do you put it under some warm water?
Well, I burn every chicken, and I freezer burn, so I do
maybe
both.
It's a bad
Are you not supposed to put it though under warm water? That you right? No.
Maybe it's a bad example. Yeah, but
no,
you get my idea. When you have a frozen something, it's vacuum sealed. You want it to defrost. It's going to defrost faster if you put it in water. And the reason is it's so much easier for heat to move into water because it's dense.
Okay.
Up here, it's air. It's harder for the heat or the cool to move into the air. So it takes more electricity to get that to happen. So that is the point. The point is it takes far less electricity to use a geothermal system. Now, I mentioned that they've been around for decades, and they have.
Would that be like the Hoover Dam? How it uses water? No.
Okay. So that's strictly for creating electricity. This in no way creates electricity. A lot of times when people think, oh, geothermal, that means you're using the deep heat of the ground to make steam and make electricity. Well, it's the same word. There are geothermal power plants that make electricity. That's the deep heat of the ground steam. This is not anywhere near that deep, and we're not using the ground to be so hot or so cold. We're using the ground to be boring, to be this steady state in the 70s temperature. That's why it can be used for both heating and cooling.
Do you know how many miles of this you laid at Whisper Valley? I mean, if it's a 1,000-acre development, do you know what that number was?
Well, when it's fully built out, it will be substantial. We're building it in phases.
Okay.
And let's see, it's 300 feet per house just in the vertical. So each house goes down 300 feet and then back up. And that's just the up and down at each house. So one borehole per house. And then you've got every house connected.
So you've got a geo grid, right?
Yes.
That's buried underground, that is, you know, helping to heat and cool the homes. So what's another then step, right? So that ground is laid. Is the builder then ready to come in and start doing their thing, or is there still more groundwork things that y'all are doing in the process?
At the point that the grid is in place, we go through and we basically install all the piping, all of the boreholes, and then we have a connection box set up at every lot. So it is ready to go. A builder only has to come in, build their house. They put in the heat pump in the house where the air conditioning unit would normally go. So you're really just swapping one for the other. And then you just do a little water connection at when the house is completed. And this is important because this is what makes it affordable.
Yeah, right.
Is that we do it beforehand, and the big cost of geothermal is bringing somebody out to come out and drill these holes, and it's the reason you don't see a lot of it, because if it's done on an ad hoc basis, house by house basis, like I said, geothermal heating and cooling has been around for decades, but people don't do a lot because it costs money to come out and just to drill these holes. But when you do it as part of developing an entire community, it's a fraction, a fraction of the cost.
To me, I think that's encouraging, right? Like, because I was definitely under the impression that, you know, a community that is as EcoSmart, you know, zero would be expensive, and then shocking that it wasn't. But that's encouraging to think that, like, the more that we know, the more these agents know, and we bring this into conversation, it kind of changes the narrative. And the fact that we are in a residential real estate industry, it's something that we can bring up to share and just raise awareness about, again, because I was going under false assumptions, and I bet a lot would, and that makes sense because on a case-by-case basis. So let me ask, because solar is something that's obviously a wonderful energy source as well, and one that people can do a little bit easier at like an ad hoc one-off situation. How does solar installation play into Whisper Valley and your process and development there?
Absolutely. So again, this is something that you don't build it up front. Obviously, you don't have the houses, you don't have the roofs yet. But what you can do is pre-screen the solar development companies. You can predetermine the quality level and the specifications of the equipment, and you can pre-negotiate pricing.
Yeah.
And
well, that's it's economies of scale.
It's economies of scale. We are able to effectively be a buyer's club for the entire community. Now, we are an enabler, and we manage quality control. We do that on behalf of the community and the builders, so that when the builders buy lots, they can still use their own procurement, but they do their procurement specialties through a very limited number of approved solar vendors that are already approved, because we know that they're high quality. We know that they're agreeing to use equipment that meets the specifications for the community, and they've already agreed to give preferential pricing. So yes, you are right. It is easier for any ad hoc homeowner to go out there and get solar. However, the solar that they get in a community like this is much, much, much more affordable. It's more affordable because we've lowered the cost down by doing all of the pre-screening and contract negotiations up front, using the economies of scale of the entire community. But also, that solar is there when they buy their house. That solar is part of the cost of their house. It's in their mortgage. So if someone goes out and gets solar, yeah, they can finance it zero cost, $0 down, but the financing cost on an ad hoc solar system is at a much higher rate than what people pay on their mortgage rates. So it's doubly more affordable.
So I love that, doubly more affordable energy. I'm learning a lot. So how is that integrated into the home? Like, how is that used?
on the front end of the development and working with the developer sets the goal for how efficient, how far do they want to push that line for the level of efficiency of the homes in their community. And the measure of that is called a HERS score. It's the Home Energy Rating System, HERS. And
okay. To our
HERS,
to our audience also, while you said that, I'm gonna I was gonna say, so HERS, right? HERS. So
yes.
For our audience, y'all, if you want to open up the chat bubble at the bottom, I'm gonna type that in and we can talk to each other. Also, if you have questions for Chad, you can let me know here and I'll field them to him. So HERS, HERS. So that's the energy efficiency score, right?
Yes, and
okay.
it is promoted by the Department of Energy. There is a lot of marketing material that's been made available to the housing industry to use and reuse that helps realtors, builders use the HERS rating of homes as a marketing mechanism. And it has been shown that there is absolutely preferential pricing that can be achieved for houses because home buyers want to see an efficient home, and the HERS rating is the way of seeing that.
Absolutely.
And the way the HERS rating goes from 0 to 100, and it's really just about the percentage. So a 100 is this house uses 100% of the energy of the average house that is built exactly the same way, the same floor plan. So a 100 is bad. A 100 is average.
Yeah, got it.
So you don't want the average. So the lower the score, the better. And just to bring it back to solar, in Whisper Valley, we've decided that our target will be a 20. That's really efficient. So that means that your average house in Whisper Valley is using 20% of the electricity that a quote unquote normal house would be, a standard house with the exact same floor plan. So it's floor plan to floor plan exactly. Outside of Whisper Valley, it could use many times more. So we targeted 20. Now, the way we get to the 20, the first thing we do is we reduce the electricity that it uses by switching from a normal, your boring run-of-the-mill HVAC system to a geothermal HVAC system. That brings you down, just that, and that alone will bring you down to say a 55. So you're already almost halfway cutting your electricity use in half just by using a geothermal system instead of a big fan outside your house blowing your heat into the air.
Wow, half.
Step one.
That's right. Really good to know. So
and then we decide on the amount of solar that we size for a house is whatever you need on a house by house basis to then get from that 55 down to that 20. And so what we're trying to do is be really, really smart about the amount of solar so that we get you to that level of energy efficiency without going overboard and without unnecessarily increasing the cost of the home.
So what is the HERS score for Whisper Valley?
So the HERS score on a house by house basis, we are targeting 20.
Wow, and that's awesome.
So some are even lower. Yeah, so we're seeing some. It ranges say from 25 down to 15. So there's some range there, but you are really, really talking about. I've seen a lot of houses that are in other communities where the builders really like to brag about their HERS score of a 60. They will market it as a very efficient house at 60.
Right.
We're getting down into the teens.
Which is amazing. So again, just for everyone that's on the call, Ken, one of our great realtors taken wrote, which I love. He put 20% is almost unheard of. I think Energy Star is 85, and most green homes are in a 50-60 range. So if most green homes that we know, and we're familiar with how energy efficient those are, if those are ranging 50-60, it just makes it really easy to understand really what that 20% that you're talking about, how really incredible that truly is. So the solar heats what I'm guessing like appliances and the smart home technology.
The electricity that the solar system produces is used for anything that you're running in your house. The remainder of your heating and cooling, your hot water heater, everything. Which I'm glad I sort of fell into that the hot water heater is something that also uses a lot less electricity than otherwise would in Whisper Valley, because, and this is just about the way we connect these systems together, the heat that is pulled from your air, that your air conditioning system would normally blow out into the air behind your house, that we inject into the water that then goes back down into the ground to cool back down. We have one little side step that this water takes, is right before that water leaves your house to go get cool, it goes through your hot water heater so that some of that heat can preheat the water that's going into your hot water tank. So that your hot water tank doesn't have to work as hard.
Yeah, no.
And it's all those little pieces that you're able to connect together by thinking about integrating these systems on the front end.
Yep.
And then laying that out so any builder that comes into this community can use the same set of technologies without increasing the cost of their house.
So
Chad, they don't have to have a hot water heater anyway. Why not make
because
it
one of our no, that's amazing. Let me ask a question that one of our agents just wrote in, and it's one I was thinking too. Will it use gas? Does the home use gas?
So the Whisper Valley does not, and as it was a choice that was made at the very beginning, which actually saved the neighborhood money, because as a developer, you do have to pay to bring gas infrastructure into and run those lines through the neighborhood.
Yep.
And so they said, well, if we're going to push a sustainable neighborhood anyway, if we really want to say that we are an efficient, sustainable, clean community, running gas lines is not necessarily the way to say that. Even if gas systems can be very efficient, it is an additional cost.
Yeah.
And we avoided that cost. We avoided that cost and still achieved high levels of efficiency. And it's something that you can be proud of.
Yeah, but again, that's what makes this development so unique. And again, to be Austin's first of anything to me in development in the sphere of, eco-friendly and smart, I would have thought that it was there, right? But you guys have I want to say like pushed it, to the limits, right? Which truly makes it the uniqueness, that it is how far you pushed it. So how do you monitor this? What kind of energy monitoring goes into this kind of building?
I'm glad you asked that, because it's not just about getting it right on the front end. And in fact, that HERS score that we mentioned, that we use as a target, is kind of a snapshot that you have of what the efficiency level should be of this house that you expect to achieve on the front end. And that's how everything is designed to. But you want to be able to prove that. And you want to be able to show with measurement and verification that these houses are performing. And so we've included an energy monitoring system that goes into your breaker panel box in every house. And so builders install this measuring device that just clamps around the wires that sort of go into and out of a home, that measure the amount of electricity that's being used. And on the one hand, it's exceptionally important to do that measurement and verification to make sure that homeowners are getting what they expect, and to also provide to those homeowners a way of doing preventative maintenance, because this measurement device can let you know when all of a sudden, for some reason, your refrigerator starts using a whole lot more electricity than it was using. And oh, maybe there's something wrong with my refrigerator. I need to get that checked out. So it's useful and actionable information by having an energy monitoring system. But more than that, it has been shown over and over again that by giving this information to homeowners, they can be more energy efficient just by understanding how their behavior affects their energy use.
Yeah,
and so we can give them all the tools
you don't know
in the
how
world.
to change behavior if you don't know what to change, right?
Exactly.
I mean, it's like, oh my gosh, by me doing this, I get this result. You know, if you don't know that, then you don't even know what behaviors to change. So
it's amazing. We had one particular homeowner who was looking at their energy monitoring device, and the device communicates over Wi-Fi and sends you your information to an app. So each homeowner can just look on their phone, look at this app, and it sees, you know, how much how much electricity is my solar system producing, how much energy is my air conditioning system using. And so this one particular homeowner was seeing a strange blip of energy use showing up, kind of like on this one particular weekend. It's like, what is going on here? It turned out, and it's amazing how detailed this monitoring system is, that energy spike was from the corded electric drill that the homeowner's the husband was using when building a deck in the backyard. And so the wife was looking, hey, and then it's real time. It's real time information. So in real time, she sees a spike energy, and then it goes away, and then it comes back, and then it goes away. And then she realizes each time her husband is running the drill, it causes a jump in the electricity. So that's just kind of like a fun thing, but you can see how that could be so useful to identify if something was happening to be going wrong. So this is
I love that
for many reasons.
Well, and you said something.
It increases the value of the home because it increases the experience. Yeah. It improves the experience that the homeowners have.
Well, it was, you know, it brought it together too when you said in real time, because, you know, it's one thing to get your electric bill a month later. You can't monitor behavior. Like, so that kind of clicked when you made that distinction that they were seeing that in real time. So Chad, let's do this. Kara Weinstein, who is the community manager of Whisper Valley, is here, and we want to bring her into the conversation too. Hey, Kara, good morning.
Hey, Kara.
Oh, you're muted here. Let me unmute you. All right, can you unmute? I can see you. Yeah, you're muted. Oh,
can you hear me?
Now I can. Yay, welcome. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How is everybody?
Well, honestly, I kind of nerd out about these things and really just nerd out on the idea of learning new things, and was, again, really interested in the innovation of Whisper Valley and in learning what went into and what goes into creating this kind of energy efficient master plan community. So how do you feel about it? What's your thoughts?
Okay, so so I've been a realtor, and I've been in this industry. I worked for production home builders and worked for developers. So I've been doing this for a while. When I heard about Whisper Valley, I was just selling homes. I was just real estating, and I was like, I am going to sell this community. This is going to be amazing. Austin's going to love it. It hits everything. It checks off all the boxes. So yeah, incredible energy efficient homes. But it's also within a community that is really trying to rethink what it means to live in a master plan community. We're really trying to come back to a holistic sense of living, right? Like, what is sustainability? So energy efficiency is a huge part of that. Being carbon neutral is a huge part of that. But so is being connected with high-speed internet. You know, gigabit service is here to stay. We're only going to get faster, right? Having a fully integrated smart home is here to stay. We're not going to go backwards, right? So having the suite of Google products, like the Nest products that we have in the homes, the Nest thermostats, the door locks, getting a Google Hub so you can make everything talk to each other. Like we really want to get everybody set for the future, right?
Yeah.
The future is now. In addition to all of these amazing things in the home, the solar panels, the ground source heat pump, the suite of products, the house is also pre-wired for EV chargers or storage batteries. So again, we're trying to equip everyone with the best home you can get on the market. Here's another thing, for the most affordable price.
No, that's the part that blows my mind. I know I keep saying that. And again, it's exciting to me because I would have thought the counter opposite. I would have thought everything you're telling me right now comes with a really steep price tag. And because I'm going to save money, now I have to see if that price tag's going to outweigh, you know, the money. But because it's done in this way at a master plan community from literally the ground up, it is affordable and it's at the 20%. I mean, it just almost sounds too good to be true, but I know it's not. It's just the future, as you just said.
Yeah, well, if you think about it, I mean, we all love Austin. We love real estate in Austin, but the prices of homes in Austin can get a little astronomical, right? So the fact that we can provide all of these things and still have a price point that is approachable for the first-time home buyer, you know, and also don't forget about the tax credits. You get federal tax credits for having this advanced technology in your home, right? We're so close to Austin. You know, we're here in East Austin. It only takes about 25 minutes to get to downtown, which is closer than Round Rock, closer than San Marcos, Buda. There's so much that we have to offer here too. We have organic gardens.
Yes, I love, because you said earlier, creating a sense of community or lifestyle. And what I was thinking when you said that, again, I'm thinking like the future. It's like, you know, for the homeowners, for the people that are attracted to this kind of sustainable living, right? Forget the price, right? Let's just go to the sustainable living, right? The socially conscious part, if you will, of this equation. It's going to attract in a certain amount of people that are going to enjoy that kind of a lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
So I can see how that just creates a real sense of community when people are able to match up and find things that they have in common. And in this point, it's kind of that socially conscious awareness of their footprint, you know, kind of a buyer.
You know what, honestly, that is, you know, a core group of the folks that come out here. It's a driving factor. But when you look at the demographic of the people that have moved in, it's everyone.
Yeah.
It's
who doesn't want an affordable house, you know, that's close. And, you know, speaking of tax incentive, I was looking on your site and, you know, that homeowners can write off 26% of both of their systems. I mean, again, that's a substantial number. We're not talking about little things. And, you know, it is encouraging, and I keep saying that, but it really is, just to think that, okay, this is possible.
Yeah.
And again, as influencers in real estate, which agents are, right? To be able to influence this kind of future development is exciting. And I'm just so grateful that you guys have pioneered it here in Austin to give now a model of what is achievable, right? Like somebody has to set that benchmark, and you guys have like hit it out of the park.
Yeah. Would you mind if I showed a short video?
No, let's do it. I love that. Do you know how to screen share?
Yeah, I'm going to hit screen share.
That's step one.
And then, do you see my screen?
I do, yeah.
All right, here we go.
I can't hear it.
Can you?
No, I can't.
So I paused it.
Tell us what we're looking at, right?
So yeah, so this is a video that we put together, and it is The narrator is the CEO of our company, Peter Merrigan, and it's just talking about everything that Whisper Valley has to offer. So you can hear me, correct?
Yeah. And you know what we can do, and for our audience, y'all, we'll email this to you, so you can have it in your, we'll get that in your inbox this afternoon. But what a cool thing to reference. So your CEO is giving us an overview of the community.
Yes, exactly. An overview, everything that has gone into the thought process on putting Whisper Valley together, because it really has been a long time coming for this project. So much care and concern was really put into every aspect, from pulling together the strategic partners that helped put in the GeoGrid. I don't know, real quick, did Chad mention that the brain of the GeoGrid system, his name is Phil, he also did the entire GeoGrid system, or the entire geo system for the Beijing Olympics. So,
wow. No,
yeah.
Chad, you were withholding that, name drop bomb there, which is amazing. And, talking about the detail care, right? So Chad and I were talking that there's even electric car charging, right? So Chad, how does that go into, what's the integration there? Is it through the garage, and what's the power source for it?
So the power source for the electric vehicle charging is going to be the same as the rest of the house. So it just uses the electricity system of the house. But it's one of these things that is such a small little change for the builder, but is so meaningful to the homeowner. And it's the story that we're telling over and over again of, we want it to be plug and play for these production builders. We don't want to make any drastic changes to their designs, but a small little thing like having the right kind of outlet in the garage means that these houses can be pre-wired and ready to go for having an electric vehicle charger should a homeowner want that. So it goes back to the benefits of thinking this all through on a systems level on the front end, so that all these production builders can come in and they can all have these houses that are pre-wired for electric vehicle chargers without it having an impact on the cost of the house.
Well, how ironic we're talking about this, and Tesla is now, has been announced, expanding, moving into Austin. And so again, the future, right? That's what we're talking about here. Where does all this energy get stored? What's energy storage like?
So we've spent a lot of time looking at energy storage and deciding how we're going to bring that to the community and when we're going to bring that to the community. Because as we've said repeatedly, affordability. And we want to bring all of the value we can when it's right to come to the homeowners. And so we don't have storage as a preset, pre-installed piece of technology that's going into all houses now. It may be in the future, but it is an option that we're building out. And the way we're approaching this is the same thing we did for the heat pumps, and the same things we did for the solar, is that we are working with the vendors of the technology to pre-screen, to look at quality, and to negotiate on pricing, so that as a buyer's club, we can bring the very best technologies to the builders, to the homeowners, so that when those homeowners do want to pull the trigger and have energy storage systems, batteries installed into their house, when the builders want that as part of their initial offering to the homeowners, it's going to be at a price that is better than anything else on the market, because we're doing it with economies of scale and with a smart approach. And in that case, with the battery installed, we know that it works because we already have a very nice battery system installed in one of the houses, and we've been able to show that in the case of a power outage, of course, we sort of we'll turn turn off the electricity to simulate this, but we'll turn off the electricity. All the lights stay on in the house. All the food stays cold in the fridge. The air conditioning continues to blow. It's
all
a
right,
peace of mind that people want.
Now this is really too good to be true, right? So
And it's
on top
also
of
more
it,
than that.
if we have rolling blackouts, you know, my ice cream's not going to melt. I mean, you know, it
right.
seriously checks all of the boxes, right? Wow, that's amazing. Kara,
Right.
so we've got just a couple of minutes here left. Would love to know if there's something that you think we've left out that our audience, especially agents, and you know, would be interested in knowing about Whisper Valley. Any final words for us?
You know, I think that the main thing is come out and see us.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, we've got this amazing discovery center here that's right by the pool. So when you come into the community, just drive on up, find the pool. And we've got an amazing facility where we can really tell the story and we can wow your clients. Honestly, as soon as we get someone in our building and we start chatting with them, there isn't a reason that we have found that we can't convince someone to buy one of these homes.
Yeah.
You know, we've got an amazing community. The homeowners themselves have gelled. These are people that didn't know each other before, and now they are having progressive dinners where there's like 10 homes in the neighborhood, and they all have like little appetizers.
Hey, I have a question from
Sure.
Well, and it again, we're talking about it creates a sense of community, right? That community. So let me ask a question that I think is great. Hey, Deanna, great question. She wants to know, are most of the homes right now on like a to-be-built 8-month wait list? Like, what does that look like?
Great question. We have specs on the ground. We have available at least right now. And we do have, we are taking to-be-built sales contracts. It does take maybe about 6 months. I wouldn't, there's always cabinet delay. You know, cabinets are always like the big thing that delays the building of a house. But we do have stuff on the ground.
Awesome. No, thanks so much. And yeah, Deanna gave you the thumbs up. So Carol, we'll be sure also to connect you with our audience this morning. So that way, if they have questions or probably clients or buyers or want to get on the wait list themselves, that we can just get them directly to the source. So in closing, I just want to thank both of you for what I feel like is a pioneering of something that, again, someone has to be the first. And I applaud and love that Whisper Valley is and was the first, and that we're in partnership with you for that. Actually, 2 more sales questions. I can't let those go.
I'll take all the questions.
Yeah, so do you have a specific lender on the purchase contract?
No, so each of the builders have their own preferred lenders, but you can bring your own lender as well. And I would like to say that we have not had any problems with appraisals or with meeting lender requirements.
Okay.
Some people were nervous about like whether or not lenders could understand and underwrite the ground source heat pump in the geosystem. Haven't had a single problem.
Awesome. That's great. And Molly wants to know, can you sell to investors?
Yes, we can. I do want to make sure everyone knows that the CCRs have a minimum of 6-month lease. So make sure that your investors understand that they have to have long-term leases, and then they have to share that information with the HOA.
Oh, that's, yeah, fantastic. Fair enough. And Jennifer wants to know any current incentives for buyers or agents?
Each of the builders have their own program, so you'll want to check with them individually.
Yeah, no, fair enough. And who are your builders? Can you tell us that?
Sure. We have Pacesetter. We've got Buffington Homes, GFO. We've got Dream Homes, which is a smaller builder, but that means that you get to work directly with the construction manager is the managing owner. Cool. And then we just added Michael Thurman Homes to phase 2, and he's kind of well known on the east side of town.
That's so cool. So Deanna, another great question. Any Metro buses set up or any plans for one to be set up, either Metro or UT Austin?
Yeah, so we don't have them right now, but we are going to be constructing a 3-acre park and ride system. That's going to be at the entrance of our community in our commercial area where coffee, juice, and beer will be. And it will connect to the airport, and it'll go all over town. More importantly, it's going to connect directly to the Green Line. The Green Line is the next line on Cap Metro's Project Connect, and the terminus is here in Manor. and we will have direct connection to that. So not only are we making the homes carbon neutral, but we're trying to get the cars off the road as well.
Of course you are. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I mean, the dessert just keep building, right? I thought we had a cherry on top, and now y'all just went and put like chopped walnuts and sprinkles on it too. So thank y'all so much for being in partnership with Platinum Top 50. Thank you for the work you did. And I really enjoyed the conversation. Feel like I learned a lot, and our agents did too. So I'm sure you'll be seeing a lot of them in the near future. So thank y'all so much. And I hope everyone has themselves a great weekend.
Thank you for having us.
Bye, Kara. Chad,
Thanks
thanks so much. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.